Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Joshua and today I'm going to give you an in-depth look at the accordion. I'm going to go over its history, how it functions as an instrument, and I will give you a live demonstration at the end. So, let's get right into it, shall we? So, in the grand scheme of music and the manufacturing of instruments, the accordion is actually a much more new instrument. Historians date its conception back to 1822 in Berlin. While the accordion is a much more niche instrument today, back in the 1800s and the first half of the 1900s, it was a widely popular instrument and widely used in traditional ethnic music across all of Europe. So, let me take you in for a closer look at all the different parts of the accordion and how each of them all function.
Alright, let's take a closer look at this, shall we? So, as I mentioned before, there are three main parts of the accordion. You have the keys over here. You have the bellows in the middle, and then you have the basses over here. So the piano and the accordion works the exact same way as any other piano. Each one of those buttons, so the white buttons and the black buttons, they each represent one singular note. The only difference when playing is instead of playing horizontally like you do on a piano, you're playing vertically. And because it's literally just a piano, it's actually pretty easy for piano players to switch over the accordion because they basically effectively already know half the instrument. These little white buttons over here, you see the one that says bandoneon, bassoon, clarinet, master, those aren't actual notes, those are called modes. So basically it's the same as a keyboard where basically if you click it, it makes the notes on the keyboard sound different. So the bassoon one over here, that makes it sound a lot lower. The clarinet makes it sound a lot higher, and the bandoneon is the one that sounds the most rich. In the middle here you have the bellows. Now the bellows are called the lungs of the accordion because it's right in the middle, and without the bellows the accordion wouldn't be the accordion. The bellows, the act of squeezing in and out, is what signifies an accordion.
Now the bellows are called the lungs of the accordion because they have to move in order for sound to happen. You see, if I just press a button on either side, nothing's happening because the bellows aren't moving. The bellows have to move in and out. So, when you actively pull in and out the bellows while you're playing the keys, then sound happens.
Now over here on the left side is the basses. Now, I know this looks a little daunting. This is 128 different buttons. It is a full 128 bass system. But let me break it down to you so it makes a little bit more sense. Now the best way to think of the bass system, instead of just 128 different buttons, think of it as 6 different rows. And each of these rows have different functions. So this first row right here, those are all singular notes. This second row, again, all singular notes. This third row, those are all major chords, major thirds. This fourth row right here, these are all minor third chords. This fifth row right here, these are seventh chords. And this sixth row here are diminished chords. So you see how this one right here, it's got a little gray indent inside of it? That's C. Now the reason that they do that is it's kind of like a little bit of a guide so you know where you are with your hand. And from that C note, you either go up and down accordingly depending on what the song entails.
So this second row, which is just the bass notes, they match up the same as the piano. So if I play a C over here, it's going to sound the same as the C on the piano side.
So for all these bass notes, you're generally going to play things together. So say you wanted to play a C major chord. You'd press the C button as well as the C major button, like that together. Same applies with the C minor chord. You press the C as well as the C chord from the minor row together. Same with the C seventh. You press the C and the seventh button. And same with a C diminished chord. You press the C and the diminished chord. So sometimes on the bass line you do just hold down chords like this, but most often you play what's called bass patterns. So on this specific type of accordion, the two most common bass patterns that you'll see are waltzes and polkas. So let's start with waltzes. So waltzes are always in 3/4 time, and they are identified by one bass note followed by two chord notes. So it'll be low, high, high, low, high, high, bum, 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 bum.
So now here's me putting that waltz bass line into action. You see how you hear the bass note and then the two higher above it? That's the waltz bass line. So now that we understand what a waltz is, let's play a couple of different waltzes from different countries. So waltzes are fun. They're some of my favorite, and it's certainly beautiful music to play. But often when people think of the accordion, they'll think of the fast-paced oompa music. Oompa, 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 oompa. Those are called polkas.
So polkas can be played in a bunch of different times, but the easiest way to think about it is in 4 different steps. So we'll start with the bass note, C, then we'll go to a chord, and then next we'll go to a bass note. Generally it's the one above it, so in this case it happens to be G, and then we'll go back to the original chord note. So it's almost like a triangle. So we'll go C, C major, G, C major. Bum, 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 bum.
So if you were to do that pattern that I just showed you up close, in person, this is what it would sound like. But often when we play polkas, we'll extend the bass note so it sounds a little more like this. You see how it's not so staticky? It just flows a little nicer when you extend the bass note. So let me play for you some polkas so you can hear what they sound like. That's the polka. Well, that's all I got for today. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about the basics of the accordion. So, I will see you in the next one.